need for action. We make online donations and click on links to track the progress. Please and read them. And for more information, 313 the local 13868 You're watching WHPF, Highland Park, Detroit. Highland Park. FM, among the views and opinions expressed on the paralegal. Brothers and sisters, are you tired of reading the whole scripture and not really understanding what's read? And if are you reasonably sure? Have you ever tested that what you see? No.
The recording has started.
It's reasonable.
This conference is being recorded.
A lot of broadcast. 88. We'll turn it into a script. FM 88. Eight. Eyeball. Discussion.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just, I greet all of you who have the hunger and thirst for the righteousness of Allah. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. You know, I'm not the kind of person that, as I told you, I'm not scared of nobody but Allah. People all the time ask me, son, man, they'll be apologizing to me for on their just volunteering apologizing to me. And I always remind them that, you know, if I haven't told you that something you was doing was bothering me, I don't need to hear you apologizing. On the other hand, when something you do bother me, if it's in private, I tell you about it in private. If it's in public, like just now. How long we been on there? Years. Well, why haven't you figured out how to put our broadcast out here where people can hear it? It's embarrassing. Well, I got to try to read your mind to tell when I'm time for me to talk, when I'm trying to listen to some advertisement or something, can't hear it because you don't pay attention to how to run your business. And brother, for you to be following me and don't have this down right now, it just tells me you really don't want to do that job. Don't do me no small favors. You know, if I got to beg somebody to help me, I don't need your help. Don't want it. You ain't had to beg me to do nothing. You getting on my nerves. Anyway, I say this, you know, I don't never like people to think that, I mean, if you're doing something that I taught you to do, I'll take the blame for it. But when I know I've taught you better, it's like one of my neighbors came up to me crying about her son that done grew up and did something that she taught him not to do. I said, what you crying about it for? Did you teach him to do that? She said, no. I said, well, whose fault is it if he went and did other than what you taught him? You here whining and boohooing over him. He ain't out there whining and boohooing over you. You ain't gonna break my heart. The minute I see you doing something that I done told you, done taught you better than, I leave you alone. I know you ain't my child. Especially when you're grown. A child is someone who's not an adult. That's one understanding of it. Put yourself in the ground grieving over somebody who give less than a tinker's damn about you. Dude. When I was growing up, even when I was getting high, I didn't come around my mother with that. Because I knew it would hurt her. I was a fool, but I wasn't that kind of fool. I ain't never called my mama from jail either. So, you know, don't be putting me in with your group. Anyway, I don't mean to be unhospitable. I have a guest this evening that I invited to come in here, and I needed to get that. I needed to get that said. You know, by now, you know, it should be that when I'm ready to come on there, the man let you all come up there, my followers come up there and engineer and be the engineers for my broadcast, and taught you how to do it. Then you get up there and you act like ain't nobody taught you nothing. It's embarrassing, man. You better hurry up and get that straight too. This is the last time I'm gonna tell you about it. So I want to introduce our guest, Azra, Miss Azra, or Sister Azra Nomani. And she is a former Wall Street Journal reporter and the author of a book. And the title of it is Standing Alone, An American Woman's Struggle for the Soul of Islam. She was born in Bombay, India, and grew up in Morgantown, West Virginia, with her parents and her older brother, Mustafa. The Wall Street Journal reporter Daniel Pearl was visiting her home in Karachi, Pakistan, and with his wife, Marianne, when Pakistani militants kidnapped him, later beheading him. Mr. Pearl's last words were, "I am a Jew." She is dedicated to peace, human rights, and civil discourse, civilized arguments, civilized discussions. She is working on a new book about Islam in America. And I want to say to Ms. Nomani, may Allah's salam alaikum. And I would like you to press *6 on your phone. And anything that I mispronounced or left out, please feel free to correct it. And also, Ms. Nomani and I was told, we talked about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see that I didn't offend you too much to come back.
So, welcome, salam, first of all. And salam alaikum to everyone there.
May wa alaikum
all your
salam.
listeners.
Now,
I'm sorry you're feeling some stress, but you know, those are the challenges of life, right? That
yes,
we
ma'am.
get to remind us that we're ordinary human beings trying to rise always to a higher place.
Yes, ma'am. You know, as their leader, I have to correct them when they do things that they have no business, and that's part of my job as a leader. When you see something wrong, you speak up about it to get it right. And so, you know, it comes with leadership. If you're not going to demand the best out of people, you are the wrong leader. You should always, the duty of leadership is to help every member of society. If they are a leader of the whole society, if you are a leader of a section of the society, then your duty as a leader is to create an atmosphere that each member that is under your leadership strives to be the best that they can be. So
yeah, I mean, I'm just the CEO of my little family with my son, but I feel that all the time, and you're always trying to figure out how to teach while motivating and always working a balance. But I do hope that somebody sits down and finds out what's going on in the heart and just help along learning, right?
yes, ma'am.
Because it's tough sometimes.
Yes, ma'am.
In this world.
Well, I want you to now just whatever you need to correct in the introduction, or if it's something else.
Yeah. Nothing to correct, nothing at all. Yeah, it was a really great. And I thought of you because I don't know if you've been following the news nationally about the issues going on, and your listeners and your community, if they've been following the issues going on with this organization that was called the Women's March.
Yes, ma'am.
And this past few days, there have been some controversies because of, I think it was triggered by the sadness after the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting.
Yes, ma'am.
And, you know, that was linked to anti-Semitism. And there are different moments during the last couple of years when the association that one of the leaders of the Women's March had, Tamika Mallory, with the Nation of Islam, and some of the statements by Louis Farrakhan had caused hurt among Jewish people. And so that's kind of caused real implosion of that community, and calls for the 4 leaders that are currently there to step down. Many people, especially from the Jewish community, feeling that there hasn't been enough of a stand of against anti-Semitism. And so I thought of you, and I wanted to just kind of loop back around
my wireless over there. Somebody knocked it over or something.
If you were familiar with any of this, I know Tamika Mallory had said that Nation of Islam helped her during her recovery from a time when her son's father was killed. And so I didn't know if you had any context on any of this or any thought.
Well, I know that if you're talking about the same movement where so many women were protesting the election of Donald Trump, I'm very familiar with that. Exactly. Yes, ma'am. As that's something that I, in America, if you really want to see the suffering of women and underrepresented what they call minority groups of people, the women in America are in a unique position. And you just saw an example of it with this past election. Women in this country outnumber men, I'll be conservative, at least 3 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Which means, since you have the right to vote, you could vote every man out of office if you wanted, if you just get together. You could vote every unjust man that's in office. You could vote him out and put another, it don't have to be a woman. You could put another man in there, but you could put yourselves in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could straighten out this mess. And I would help you.
Right.
Now, this is not against the teachings of Islam. This is not against the teachings of the where they said, let the woman remain silent in the church. Last time I checked, the White House ain't the church.
Mm-hmm.
The Congress is not the church. And when you really get into this remain silent thing, the book say, but the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Didn't say just let women.
Uh-huh.
So America is the foundation, whether people realize it or not. America is the foundation for acceptance of the new world, of a new world. Because in America, people have had a chance to try everything they know to try. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me, he said, if a man have his mind made up to do something, you may as well let him go ahead and do it. Because to force him to do it, and when his mind wants to, you will only have a hypocrite. But as Jesus put it like this, make yourselves too friends of the mammon of unrighteousness. So following your own way, everybody in America is following their own way. And where has it led to? No peace, no justice, and electing a man that have no business being president. And a Congress that has sat down and decided that they would not perform their duties of oversight to be a third branch of the same government. And so now everybody realizes that we need something else. We need a change. So what do? Submission to the will of God. That's what Islam means. I don't call my religion Islam because of its name. I call my religion Islam because of what it means, what the word means. When I say that I'm a Muslim, I'm saying I'm one who submits. And if you ask to who? To the will of God. Entire submission to the will of God is my religion. And the name that Allah put on that is Islam. He said, I have chosen for you Islam as a religion. And so that is what I represent. That is what I'm saying when I'm not a person who keep on harping on the problem. When you tell me all the women in this country that feel like you being underpaid, undersold, respected, I gave you the solution. You just don't want to hear it because I done told you I'm the Son of Man. Well, if you don't like me being the Son of Man, that's on you. But I sure gave you the solution to your problem. You ain't got nothing to be crying about. Just if you can't find no men that will treat you right, find some women that you trust to go in there and make laws, just laws and things, because the lawmaking body of America is the Congress. All you got to do is vote yourselves in there, and whatever you don't like, change it. Stand around arguing with no hard-headed, rebellious, hateful man. But for that, you have to unite. For that, you have to put aside pettiness. For that, you have to agree that even though you may have different backgrounds and whatnot, if you can agree that you want justice, and not, you can't say you want justice if you only want it when it swings in your favor. If justice is against you, you still got to want justice. Because that means repentance. If justice is against me, then I better get straight, not try to bend justice. So this is yes, ma'am. I said all that to let you know that I see the problem. Yes, and I agree that I'm glad that women are standing up for their rights. I'm glad.
So I was wondering, what's happening now is that, because of associations of Louis Farrakhan with anti-Israel and anti-Jewish ideas and sentiments, the Jewish women who also believe in Israel feel very, disrespected also, and also not included in terms of their efforts to have justice for themselves. And so Tamika Mallory, one of the co-founders, is like I was saying, one of the symbols of that because of her friendship with Louis Farrakhan. Is there any thoughts that you have about the ideas of the anti-Semitism that they're saying that he expresses and its impact on the Jewish community in America?
Well, first of all, Minister Louis Farrakhan is not but one man. And if you think that everybody that goes to the temple with Minister Farrakhan agrees with everything that man say, you living in a dream world. It's very few people. It's very few people on this planet that will not agree that they have friends that they associate and associates that they hang out with, but they don't necessarily agree with everything that friend or associate says or does. So, if you're going to demand that anyone that you deal with has to be on the same page as you on everything, you are demanding that person puts away their ability to think and reason. If you believe that you are right, you should be able to sit down, just like in this opening statement that I read from you. It says, working to have civil discourse. Minister Farrakhan got out there and said he's not an anti-Semite. Well, okay. And first of all, if you look at the word Semitic, the only person on this planet that didn't come from semen is the first man. And that's God. Everybody else came from semen. So all people are Semitic people in that sense. So, you know, the problem is most people using language that they don't even understand what they're saying. Because if they understood what they were saying, they would know that it makes no sense. You know, the game that has been ran on the human family is that we have all been miseducated in the name of education. When we were in public school, we learned that words only had one meaning. And consequently, we were educated into functional illiteracy. And none of us, very few of us took the time to go through a dictionary and discover that especially the English language. The English language is so broad that you really it gives you so many ways to express yourself and to be misunderstood. And so it's a language that if you want to deceive people, the English language will certainly enable you to do so. And so I want you to, you know, from now on, this is what we all should practice. Instead of assuming you know what someone means by what they say, let them tell you. Tell them, hey, explain what you just said to me, what you meant by it. Because I may be misunderstanding you. It's like when I talked to an atheist and the atheist told me he didn't believe in God. I didn't go arguing with him, because before you argue with a person, you must make sure that the understanding that they have of a word and the understanding that you have of a word is the same understanding. Come to find out, his idea of God, when he started telling me about God being some supernatural being sitting up out somewhere in the universe running everything, I said, I don't believe in that either. I believe in the God that the scripture tell you about. The one that the word is with. The book said the word was with God. Well, who was the gospel with? The gospel was with Jesus. The Holy Quran was with Muhammad. And before people say, no, hey, Muhammad wasn't God, Jesus wasn't God. Well, in the second chapter of the Holy Quran, it starts off with these words. It says, in the name of Allah, the beneficent and merciful. I, Allah, am the best knower. Now, that didn't come in that book before it was in the mouth of Muhammad. And he didn't say, thus saith Allah either. He said, I, Allah, am the best knower. That's why they got mad at him and started trying to stone him. But a messenger of God, Muhammad wasn't the first one that was told to say, I am. Moses was told the same thing. He said, who shall I tell him sent me? He said, just tell him I am sent you. Well, he going to ask me who is the I am, tell him, say I am that I am. And then when Moses got back, the Lord looked at him and laughed. Him and Moses started laughing together. Say, see, I have made you a God to Pharaoh. And Aaron, your brother, shall be your prophet. Now, that's in the scripture. I don't say I'm a Muslim and then go and make up my own teachings. The second pillar of faith in Islam is that you must believe in all of the prophets and in all of their scriptures. And I believe in the Holy Bible and I believe in the Holy Quran. I know they have been tampered with. I know that, I mean, you can get one by Yusuf and get the other one by Maulana. and you'll see that they don't read the same. You get a King James authorized version from say 1612 or 1611, and you get some of these new revised versions, and you see that they've been tampered with. At least they tell you the truth about it in the Bible. They say it have been diligently compared and revised. When you look at the word revised, it means changed. You see, so, you know, for a person to tell you that they won't, if you believed in a cause, and then you say you're going to disassociate yourself from that cause because you see somebody in there that you have heard or you know is anti this or anti-Semitic or anti something, it sounds to me like you don't believe in that cause too strongly. Because if you truly believed in that cause, you say, hey, now this person here bear watching. But if they walking with us and they want to help us, fine. The Holy Quran says that about Islam. It said when you see people coming into the religion in large numbers, it says seek refuge in Allah. Because what? They got an old saying in this world, if you can't beat them, join them. But they don't tell you the rest of that. See, a hint to the wise is sufficient. The devil, he ain't no dummy. What he meant was, if you can't beat people, if you see that they got the truth and you can't beat them with it, join them and then get in a position where they will trust you and then make them deviate from what they was believing in. You see? So I'm trying to show you.
The resolution is that, you know, people are going to be continuing with the struggle for women's rights, but just working, you know, in different movements, different efforts. And I think that's a natural evolution as people, you know, learn about each other, and sometimes that happens. But thank you so much for your thoughts and insights. I really appreciate it.
One more thing before you go. One more thing before you go, Sister Namoni.
Yeah.
Namani. See what you just said? You know, the struggle. You know, you heard of the NAACP?
Yeah.
Okay. You know how long that organization been around?
Right, exactly.
Okay,
I think, I mean, at least since the 20s or 30s.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I know a long time.
Been around here.
Many, even in that struggle, like there's many iterations, there's many organizations, there's many styles, there's many people.
Now, the reason I brought that up is because as long as people can make a job and make a living by setting up an organization to quote unquote struggle, why should they put a stop to the struggling when it's going to be a stop to their revenue that they're making off of the struggle? So you got to wise up.
I mean, it definitely goes all ways. I mean,
you got to wise up.
True on all fronts, really.
Yes.
I agree with you, and I thought about it a lot. By the way, for everybody who's listening, I just looked it up. Formed in 1909 with the NAACP. But yeah, it is a quandary because you know, you create a mission out of a struggle, and if you know, if the struggle ends, then your revenue stream ends. So it is you know, it is something that I think about in terms of just following the business element of these movements also sometimes.
So I don't believe in making a business out of people suffering.
Right.
No, we don't.
I agree.
We don't,
thinking about that.
We don't make no business out of it.
It has become such a big business now, with so many of these so-called movements.
Yeah.
I follow the money. I look at their IRS filings, their 990s, and we're talking about corporations really that have multi-million-dollar budgets, CEOs and executive directors of these organizations that make, you know, $200,000, $300,000 a year with $20,000, $30,000 in bonuses. And you just really, as I study those documents, I just really think about the big business of so-called, suffering and struggle.
Yes, ma'am. So I want everybody. I'm so thankful that you came in here and brought this subject in here. Because look.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to, just really talk it through. And like you said, I definitely think, when we are trying to understand anyone else, especially in my position, trying to write about it, you have to definitely ask everyone what do you make of it, instead of just, I have my conclusions and my assessments, but I'm always trying to still find out more to include in my analysis. So I want to really thank you for your time and thank everyone for letting me share their time.
Well, I'm not running you off. I'm not rushing you off. If you wanted, you had something in particular.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to go.
Okay. All right.
Finally, I made it to my mom's home just in time to get on to talk to you, but okay. But I'll go visit with her and just thank you so much for always being available.
Well, anytime you want to come in and share something or even make announcements,
thank you.
This is open to you.
Okay, great. One day I will make that road trip to your actual
Well, I want you to come and see.
I will. Yes. All right. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
May wa alaikum ala salam. So now I want you all to wise up. If you keep on just giving, it's just like I told you, the American people. If you get outside of the government, and I don't say everybody in the government is crook, because they're not. But just go out through America. Like I told you, when I was a youngster, we had a little organization. Well, we sold candy. And when we went out to Santa Monica and places where nothing but white people lived, just about every door we knocked on, they bought what we were selling. And they encouraged us. Therefore, when the messenger said that if the black man of America would get up and do for himself, his once slave master would come and respect him and help him to do something for himself. I thought about the dealings that I had as a child with white people. It wasn't all bad. And they did encourage us to do. Now, you always going to have until the judgment finally go down. I told you that one day, you remember when I said to hell with Donald Trump and everybody who support him? I didn't put no amen on that. I'm just about ready to do that. But in order to be justified to cast all of them into hell, I need to give them a chance to see themselves and correct themselves. Because this not no joke. Wouldn't you want, if it was me, I would sure hope you would give me a chance to correct myself as you would that man do to you. So, I tell you, just like I took away their excuse, just like the lady that's that claims she's a Jewish lady that wants to stop because she know a woman don't want to be associated with it, that this woman was a friend of Minister Farrakhan's or whatever. But that ain't no reason to be talking about you don't want to do a good thing because you see somebody that you think is a bad person. The scripture said ain't none righteous. I haven't stood up here and told you that I'm totally righteous. I couldn't live with you if I was totally righteous. Tell you what, put on a nice, clean tuxedo. And white, clean and white. Then go sit down in the grass. Go sit down somewhere where there's dirt. How long is it going to stay clean? That's my point. Why you think Allah told me after he perfected me? Then he told me, now you go there and you give all them warning from me. And in so doing, you ain't got to ask my forgiveness for no sins you done did and all of those kind of things, because I know you're going to fall into stuff when I put you back in there. But in giving them warning, you will deliver your soul. You read that with me. You might not have understood it until I just taught you, but you sure read it. Now, if the Son of Man needs to deliver his own soul and have to do something special to do it, which is to give warning to the world, do that sound like the Son of Man is all righteous? No. But the people that I'm here with ain't all righteous. At least I know how to be righteous. Otherwise, I wouldn't be producing better people now. If you do everything I tell you, won't nobody be able to find fault in you but me. I done stood up in front of the whole world and told them, point out the fault you find in me. You hear anybody unmuting their phone and telling me what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? You ain't found nothing in the scripture to condemn me with. I found plenty in there that condemns you if I don't forgive you. So there's a lot of things that I really want to say to you. That unity is a major source of strength. You see? But even what I was telling you, the women, to do, I mean, you don't have to keep whining about being mistreated. You outnumber men. Solve your problem at the voting box. And as he leaving office, say bye. Then I'm going to do for myself what I tried to get you to do for me, and you wouldn't do it. The only man that's mad at me for saying that is somebody who don't give a damn about you. Why wouldn't you want people to be able to stop people from mistreating them? It's because you one of them that's mistreating somebody. Right and wrong is not male and female. I should say it is not male or female. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And it makes no difference who's doing it. That's why Allah had to warn you when you see me in my afflictions. He said, judge not that you be not judged. Because even though I'm afflicted just like you, I'm the only one who can understand you and help you overcome yours. Because mine are not ruling over me, but yours is ruling over you. Look, I have to keep reminding you to forgive one another. So don't ever think you some equal of mine. You ain't nobody on this planet my equal. Now they all listening. You know, I know what equal means. All you have to do is tell me, yes, I am. I come on in here then. Now I'm gonna question you. I'm gonna ask you one question, and you answer me, and then I will let you ask me one. I'll let you go first. You ask me a question, then I'll answer you. And if my answer is not up to snuff, you can give the right answer. Remember, I let Geno Jennings. I said, you want to explain this first? Because if he really knew, then when he get through explaining it, all I'm gonna be able to say, well, that's all. That's what I was gonna say, right? Ain't now one of y'all can say that's what you were gonna say if I answer something. And if you lie and say that, I say, well, what else do it mean? then what? You know, I mean, it's just like I do with the scriptures what a pianist does with a piano. Take the same notes and make them play a different song. That's right. So it's just the order that you put them in. That's throughout the universe. You take the elements and the way you mix them, you come up with a different life form, or you come up with a different thing. But it's all the same elements. It's just mixing them that makes them different. All praises due to Allah. It's like me. I look at this wonderful country that started me off in slavery. And you know, the one thing that I will say, that once they thought that we was the only ones enslaved here. We were enslaved physically and mentally. And in order to hold us in slavery, they were stuck too. They were stuck with us. If you want to hold a person back, you got to stay back there with them. Do you understand? That's why all of their overseers, they had to get some pretty dumb overseers. Because the overseer, where he got his delight, because he was sadistic anyway and ignorant. So he thought he was better. And that's what his master, his more educated white man taught the dummy. He told him, I don't care, you get mad all you want. You was a dummy. I mean, he had a big house, nice, everything, and you thought you was something special because you was over the niggers. And as far as he was concerned, you wasn't nothing but a nigger yourself. That's why he put you with the niggas. So, but anyway, I mean, it's funny, man. You know, that history really shows you the weakness of the mind that is only rooted in earthy knowledge. It's a very weak and limited mind. It's a limited existence. Just like everything on the earth is like candles. You notice, that's why they call them 7 candlesticks, the continents. Because what you have to do with a candlestick. Once you light the candle, if you got 7 candles on the candlesticks and you light them, eventually what do you have to do? You got to put some more of them up there, huh? Why? Because them burn out, huh? You notice all the trees, everything, all the animals, everything that's here, it's just temporary. It's burning out. And others have to take their place. Is that right? Candles on a candlestick. And so that seems vain. And it is. Solomon called it that. All is vanity. And there's nothing new under the sun. That which has been will be. And that which will be is that which has already been. Now look what happened. He that sitteth on the throne said, behold, I make all things new. You notice every time I'm talking to you, you get new ideas. You get new understanding. I'm creating that. This knowledge that I'm sharing with you creates. That's what the truth is. The truth is the creator. You can hear one thing and it'll make your mind go to something that you had never thought about. Creating something new in your head. If you want a new world, you got to first be able to create new thoughts. You ain't got no new thoughts. I'm the only one got new thoughts. Well, I'm just telling you the truth. If you had any new thoughts, you wouldn't keep getting worse and worse and worse. No. I'm not getting worse and worse and worse. I'm getting better and better and better. So all praise is due to Allah. Now, any questions or arguments on that? You know, sometimes people, you have to give them time. You know, folks have to kind of get up nerve now when they go to talk to me. You know why? Because the scripture is coming to pass, where it says, sanctify the Lord of hosts himself. You already done put me aside as special. That's why you careful how you come in here now. When you sanctify something, you set it aside as something that is special and to be respected. Now you're getting down into that part where it says, and let him be your fear. And let him be your dread. Now, you ain't heard nobody come back here today. If I cast you into hell, I know where you at. You won't be sleeping. You won't be happy at all. And if that wasn't so, come on in here and tell me that ain't so, and let's try it. Remember I told you, if you won't take the lesson, you'll be the lesson. You'll become the lesson. We don't waste nothing. I can show you an example. When them trees can't stand up no longer, we don't throw them away. Then we make fertilizer out of them and let something else come out. Yeah. If you won't accept the truth, then we already put something in the book about you. Say, travel in the land and see what was the end of those who didn't accept the truth. And when you see them, then it'll strengthen your faith and make you say, man, I ain't going down that road. Do you understand? Yeah. You know, so I want all of you to save yourselves. If you're afraid of somebody, what happens when you get around? Have you ever noticed when you get afraid, your hand go to trembling? You know, huh? How did the book say, work out your salvation? When you really discover what powers I really have, you'll understand that. No, you don't want me for no enemy. You just think you do. No, no, you don't want me for your enemy. So let's be friends. You do what I tell you to do, and then we be friends. You're my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. Right. Now you understand why I say, "Oh, you who believe, take not the Jews and Christians for friends." It don't mean go cut their head off. At least not the physical one. I'm not here to chop the physical head off. I'm here to chop the mind. That's your head. I'm trying to chop that one off. And you keep coming here and I will cut it off. And you will say, oh, praise is due to Allah. Hallelujah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because you won't be a fool no more. Like that song say, don't be a fool anymore. The waiting is over.
Mr. Son of Man?
Yes, sir.
You told me to give you a reminder to explain about what it said. No one is above the law.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. You know, I'm gonna put a little news on there. Now, this is Rachel Maddow, and I want to, you know, a lot of people they got a image of Mississippi that ain't never. The reputation of Mississippi is so horrible and horrendous when it comes to black people that every time the word Mississippi come up, all you can think about is Emmett Till and just terrible stuff. And I want to tell you that Mississippi ain't like that. It's not the same Mississippi that it was. But tell me something. Is you the same person that you was 15 years ago? It's impossible for you to be the same person 10 years right now that you was 20 years ago. They say, yeah, he's the same low down. No, if he low down, he more low down now. Do you understand? He done growed more low down. Do you understand? Look at Donald Trump, a good example. Donald Trump used to bite his tongue. He used to be careful how he talked. When he was interviewed by Oprah, would you have thought he was a racist? No. If nobody even associated him with no Ku Klux Klan, right? But he done just grown worse and worse and worse. You know, and somebody that's as conceited and self-centered as him, I tell you, one of his biggest problems is he see that the most of his life is behind him now. Mortality looking him in the face, and he's upset. He can't think and can't stomach the idea of the world keeping on turning when he ain't here no more. And it's eating him up. And if you ain't careful, he'll be just like that old crooked president on Babylon 5. He'll have scorched earth. Do you understand? Oh, don't worry. He ain't got that kind of authority. He just think he does. You know, ain't nobody got that kind of authority but the one standing here. Since when do you think you can do what you please with another man's property? See, before you could fix your mouth, I straightened it out, didn't I? The earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, meaning everything in it, and everybody that's owned it. So I'm a rich man. Yeah. No other man can stand up and talk to the whole world like me, and they don't say nothing. What you gonna say? That ain't so. Well, it's in the book. The book say the Son of Man is the Lord, and it tells you on what day the Son of Man gonna be the Lord. On the Sabbath day. Ask the white man how long he been here. He said 6,000 years. A day with the Lord is as what? Well, what day we living in now? I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Didn't a man named Elijah Muhammad? You see that man right there? Didn't he tell you that he was the messenger of Allah and that Allah, he met with Allah in person and he sent him? He said, God in person. God ain't no man. The scriptures say God came from semen. Well, where did everybody that the word is with come from? Didn't everybody come from semen? I know you say it's a Teman. That's because you don't know. Jesus came from semen. Surely we created man from sperm and ovum. What is sperm? Semen. God came from semen. And the Holy One from Mount Paran. What is Paran? You ain't even never look it up. It's just. Well, it's actually religion, spiritualism, and occultism. Occultism is hidden things. I will give him to eat of the hidden manna. The Holy One. Who is the Holy One? Holy Bible, Holy Quran, came from religion and spiritualism. Son of man, take the book and eat it up. The Holy One, his glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. The holy temple is standing here. What made me holy? I ate it. You ever eat onions? You ever eat garlic? When you spoke to people, what did they tell you? Good gracious, what you been eating? Right? When I speak to people, they know what I've been eating. The Holy Scriptures. That's why their mouth is shut and mine is walking and working. You see, they wish they could come in here and speak to me, but they ain't no way to speak to me. Because they know I'm going to ask them, where's that at in the scripture? So let's check this out here.
The Senate asked former FBI Director James Comey for the names of people he confided in about the president asking him, head of the FBI, to lift the cloud of the Russia investigation. The list that James Comey gave the Senate was not a long one.
Who are those senior leaders of the FBI that we shared these conversations with?
As I said in response to Senator Feinstein's question, Deputy Director, my Chief of Staff, General Counsel, Deputy Directors, Chief Counsel, and then more often than not, the number 3 person at the FBI was the Associate Deputy Director, and then quite often the head of the National Security Branch.
6 people in James Comey's inner circle. All but one of them are now gone from the FBI.
Now, the Senate and the House of Representatives their job, part of their job description is called oversight. Is to just kind of look over the shoulder. You know how you be driving sometime and somebody say, hey man, hey, you see that what's name over there? And you tell, hey, look, I don't need no backseat driver, right? But they're just making sure you see it, right? Because they in there with you. You ain't gonna get in no accident by yourself. If I'm in the car with you, I'm gonna get in it too. So I got a right to say something if it looked like you ain't seeing something. Oversight. Now they asked, who did Mr. Comey tell it to, right? And now all of a sudden, them people ain't at the department no more. How come they didn't ask and start subpoenaing them? The first one they should have subpoenaed was the president. And asked the Mr. President, why you let them people go? Well, I have a right to fire who I want to. Yes, you have a right to fire who you want to fire as long as you ain't got no unlawful motive for doing it. It's an investigation underway, and you're part of the investigation. They investigating you. What you doing firing people over there? Do you understand? But they didn't say nothing. That's called complicit. You see, I'm gonna tell you something now. You may think that you can that you are above the law. You don't understand what that means. You know, most people, they live on the earth and they never realize what really is going on here. But up is really down, and down is up, and sideways is straight ahead. Next time you have a ball, put an ant on it and spin it. Put him on the bottom of it and watch, he still be walking on the ball. Do you understand? Now, let me tell you. Now, if you say down is up, then, I mean, the earth is spinning at 1,037 1/3 miles per hour on its axis. Now, imagine you going 1,037 1/3 miles per hour, and yet you don't feel it. Now, do you? But that's how fast we spin it. How come we don't all fly off? I mean, you put anything and spin it, put anything on a ball and spin it fast enough, it'll throw it off of there. How come we ain't flying off the earth? What is it called? Gravity. Is that right? And the earth ain't just drawing us to it. It's drawing the very atmosphere that's around us. It's drawing that to it too. So the weight of all of that is pressing on us. Now, if your heart wasn't doing what it's doing, which is pumping, you would actually feel the force of the atmosphere pressing against you. But the atmospheric pressure has a correlation with blood pressure. And so the force inside of your body is pressing out and the atmosphere pressing in, and they cancel each other out. Do you understand? Now, what happens when why are those trees and things able to stand up? Because of what? The roots are above them, huh? if you call that up. When you look down, that's up. Huh? But the way we see it is that to us, we not upside down, right? Even though we know that's what it is. But we also realize that our minds flips it. But we don't feel like we being pulled and held to the earth. But that's why we don't fly off. But anyway, so in order for the tree, the part that you see, how is it able to stand up? It's held up by the part you don't see. Is that right? The unseen supports the seen. Is that right? So even though the tree looks like it's just, it stops at the dirt. But no, it don't stop there. The minute you get up under there and cut that other part off, then you have caused a break between the foundation, the root, and that which is being upheld by the root. You notice the president has the biggest job, has the great big job of holding the country together. His job is to act as a father over the United States. That's why whenever a catastrophe happens, everybody looks to the president to console the nation. Huh? The tree and the roots, that you don't speak of the tree itself as being above the roots. The roots and the tree are one. Only a fool thinks when he becomes president that the law don't apply to him. The law and him are supposed to be one. And as long as he's connected to the law upholds him. But if he violates the law, then it's like cutting off the root. He fall over. Do you understand? And he's sitting up there, these people sitting up talking about it. It's just an agreement that the president does not interfere with the Justice Department, even though he's over. These people are stupid. You know, there was a time when people could come up in front of me and misrepresent God's word to me. When I was a child, people did that. We had more preachers than you could shake a stick at. You still got more preachers than you can shake a stick at. You have to trust me on that because you notice won't none of them coming in. But they're out there. Do you understand? They just don't want to come in here with me. The chief captains and the mighty man and the rich man, what did they seek to do? Hide themselves in the rocks and in the dens, and said to the rocks of the mountains, fall on us, and do what? Hide us from who? And from the wrath of the Lamb. Now, if I'm not the Lamb, what everybody hiding for? Okay. Now, you see, the power of the tree comes from its roots. The power of the presidency comes from the law. when he, what you call, breaks the law, when he breaks free to violate the law, then the law that he broke free from is no longer connected to him. He is no longer over it, and he no longer is upheld by it. You go to take an axe and start chopping at the base of a tree. You cutting it away from its roots. What is it going to do? He about to fall over. Huh? And for all these people who claim that you can't arrest the president, once he violates his oath of office, once he decides that the laws of America, and he called the justice system a joke. That's what he did. Once he decides that the law does not apply to him, that's tantamount to resigning from the office of president. That'd be just like me telling you, I ain't got to pay no attention to what these scriptures say. Then you say, well, nigga, you can sit down. That's what you understand. That's what, yeah, you'd be right, too. That nigga done lost his mind. Is that right? The Son of Man, somebody, he don't pay no attention to the scripture. James Brown said, Mama, come here quick and bring me that licking stick. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you that I'm above the scripture. Allah didn't tell me to go there, throw the scripture away, and you tell them what you need to tell them. He told me to take the book and study it. First, he said, eat it up. And to make sure that I knew what he meant, he said, and from a child hast thou known the Holy Scripture. The study to show thyself approved unto God. Who is God? Every one of these men that the word was with. And if you contradict any of them, Son of Man, they don't approve you. Now, you got to study and make sure that you ain't contradicting none of them. And don't worry, I'm going to help you. And he helped me, too. You say, well, you ain't had no right to be changing the word teeman to seaman. I got a question for you. How come you didn't tell the white man he didn't have no right to revise it? Better not come in here telling me what I ain't got no right to do. You're gonna sit yourself there and shut up. Why am I talking to people like this? Trying to provoke somebody enough to make them come out their bag on me. But I can't hardly provoke nobody no more. And that's good. So I'm, they should have been asking, why was these men gotten rid of? I mean, since they was witnesses that former director Comey told about that strange meeting he had with President Trump. And he wrote down a memo and went and told them what had happened. Which is look, they are trained as investigators. Do you know what an investigator is? Do you really? Because you got people that's stupid enough to think that the FBI is supposed to tell people when they investigate them. That's like, I mean, really, what kind of security, what kind of security guard what now starts telling crooks? Now, I'm over here in this guardhouse here, and And if you come up there at such a time, I'm going to see you. Do you understand? No. When the FBI investigates you, look, I'm telling you what I understand now that I done started scrutinizing and paying attention to the government of America, and how before I wasn't interested in their government affairs or whatnot. I didn't involve myself in that. I got involved when a black man became president, which looked like it was contradicting something that the messenger of God had said. And I'd say, oh, wait a minute. You know, then as I looked at it, and then it pulled me in. So now that I'm in here, I'm studying it and watching it. Now, if I was the FBI, it's just like with me and you. You think I tell you everything that I see you doing? You think I tell you every time I know you done told me a lie? You have to see where people's heart is. You have to see where they're going with this stuff. You don't just automatically assume the worst of people. People make mistakes. Everything that comes out of a person's mouth, you can't hold them accountable for it, because just as your body passes gas, and it ain't always because you gotta defecate. So gas without boo-boo, it's just gas. So sometimes people say things that's just mouthing off, popping off, venting. So you got to know the difference in that and something that got some boo-boo behind it. Do you understand? And for that, you have to wait and see. Director Comey, he did just what he supposed to do. Not, hey, Mr. President, you ain't got no business saying that to me. No. You know, he's the president of the United States. We just see where he's going with this. So he just made a mental note, and then he made his mental notes. And then he said why he took them notes. He said because he just in case Mr. Trump lied about it. So he made sure that and the FBI backed that up and said all of them are trained to do that. It ain't about trying to catch you in nothing. It's about, that's his job. You sleeping at night, ain't nobody coming in here secretly infiltrating and overthrowing your government, and you mad at the people who making sure that don't happen. You're stupid. And you know what happens when you trouble your own house? It's like a man going and purposely sabotaging his own immune system. Why would Donald Trump try to sabotage the FBI? The only reason he tried to do that is because he's not interested in seeing America stay, or the United States stay the United States of America. He said he was draining the swamp. I told you what he meant by it when he first said it. But you remember, he had already confessed to you that he was donating to all them people's campaign. So he sure wasn't trying to do what he knew you was going to get out of that. Talking about drain the swamp. He's part of the swamp. trying to help it become a swamp. Of bought and paid for politicians. Grover Norquist told you that. He said, we trying to reduce the government down to the size that it could fit in a bathtub. Well, if a couple of rich men buy up all your congressmen, then every time they take a bath, your government is taking a bath. And all the FBI have to do is follow all these boys that ain't running no more now and this. Find out where their money is, and you will find out that all of them now done became millionaires because they got paid to sell you out. Now, you don't hear nobody saying that ain't so. Ain't nobody saying I'm crazy. Crazy done got on the bus. I ain't doing nothing but bringing facts to you. Facts that circumstances verify. Remember Grover Norquist? Reduce it down to the size it can fit in the bathtub. Donald Trump wasn't able to get no loans from American banks anymore because the federal rules won't let you keep making loans to people who declaring bankruptcies. Huh? So, where did he get the money from to all his business ventures? Now they done found out it came from Russian rich people. Huh? So now they got them, they own your president. You notice he don't tweet nothing about me, and he bet not. Now that should get his guff. Huh? What did that nigger say? You heard me. Tweet something about me. Let's say that nigger in Mississippi that called himself the Son of Man. Say that. I'll throw your behind in hell so fast it'll make your head swim. Yeah. That man don't care nothing about this country. Went over there to Puerto Rico after them people done suffered all of that destruction and death, throwing paper towels to them. That's good at saying, here, fools, wipe your eyes. Cry. Wipe your eyes. Because we sure ain't going to help you. You're going to answer for that. Every evil thing that you've been doing, you're going to pay for it. What they tell you about, what he say about Miss Clinton, lock her up. Now his daughter and all his staff and everybody, according to him, if you're using private service, you need to be locked up. Is that right? Let me show you something here. You know, everything you're doing is written. Turn to Romans, the first and second, the first chapter. It reads in the 29th verse. It says, being filled with all unrighteousness. Well, that's him. You know he filled with all unrighteousness. You know what all unrighteousness is. That's the what they call parochial education. Education that's strictly from non-religious fields. Do you understand? That's why when he tried to fake it, and them people knew he was faking because they fake it. Them so-called evangelicals supporting a man like that. When he told on himself when he didn't even know how to say 2 Corinthians. Anybody that's been to church and knows something about church, been there any kind of way, you know you don't say no 2 Corinthians. Is that right? Even white people, they listening and they bearing me witness. Their silence tells you they bearing me witness. It says, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication. Well, grab them by the... Is that what he said? He said, I see a beautiful woman, I just start kissing them. Is that what he said? He said, and grab them, you can grab them, you can do anything to them when you're a celebrity. Huh? And they let you. Huh? And then you put that man in the White House. And he stood up right after I played the song. Allah made him recite the lyrics to you. The snake. And he said, does this make sense? Huh? It says, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness. Any of them do you see any of that right now that I done read so far that don't find a home in Donald Trump? Maliciousness, full of envy. He wished, like, I don't know, how you know, you remember how he did President Obama? He wished that he could have got the best of President Obama. And every time he get out there and do some old crazy stuff, President Obama sat up there and said, we have Donald Trump, the Donald. He'd be sitting there. The only reason he got elected, and President Obama, I had to tell you, was because you said Donald Trump will never be president. That's the only reason he got elected. All of you who claim that you ain't got no racism and all that, yes, you do. You lying. And now you paying for it. You're about to lose your country. And if I was not the Son of Man, I'd stand by and let it happen. But I got to warn you, because that's what I was told to do. And I was told that there are white Muslims in America. And a Muslim loves for his brother what he loved for himself. So I'm not going to stand by and watch people undermine your government and tear your country apart. And I know what they're doing and don't say nothing. So I'm saying something. And I didn't just start saying this. I've been told you about Grover Norquist and whoever that was supporting him. Whoever he's representing. When they ask him, well, where you get your money from? Well, I don't tell that. What do you mean you don't tell that? Little weasel. Anyway, full of envy, murder. What he just did when he found out, when the intelligence community told him that prince over there You notice these people claim to be Muslims. Well, you know, in a prayer we say, "O Allah, thou art the king." That's why in what you call lip profession, they tell you that there are no kings in Islam. Allah is the king. Then how did he become a prince? A prince is the son of a king. Now the intelligence community have informed the president that Mr. Khashoggi was murdered, and the prince that Donald Trump's so close to and doing business with ordered the murder of an American citizen. He was in America and he lived in America and worked for the Washington Post. And he was a resident, a permanent resident of America. That's how they referred to him. And to say you will still do business with the man who ordered his murder. What they say? Full of envy, murder, debate. Huh? Here Donald Trump trying to run the White House like he owns it. Last time I heard, he get his check from the people of America. What is the press to the people of America? The press are the ones who inform the people of America as to what those that's supposed to be there working and serving the American people. The press informs you or keeps you informed of what they are doing. He had no right to tell the press they can't come in there and ask him questions. If you don't want the press asking you questions, resign. But his answer is kill him. How you know that's his answer? Mr. Khashoggi was worked for the American press, which Donald Trump been running around here telling people that the American press is the enemy. And this fake news, he got out in front of that to, you know, when people done messed you over, that's an old trick. Do you wrong and then accuse you of the wrong that they did. So that when you get the evidence that they did it and accuse them, they say, oh, you just saying what I said. That's an old psychological trick. It's like now, they come up and say the president said that the reason he did this or whatnot. Why you keep on coming out there to acting like you believe something Donald Trump's saying? Why would you do that? The man is a liar. And everybody knows it. They keep talking, well, he's convinced his base. And what you talking about, convinced his base? Everybody that's with Donald Trump is with him because they already believe all of that and think the way he thinks. They don't care nothing about him lying because all of them are liars. Let me show you something here. You can get mad all you want. I'll show you. deplorable, worthy of severe condemnation or reproach, lamentable, woeful, wretched, bad. Lamentable. When you lament over something, you express anxiety about it, and you sorry that it's happening and all that kind of thing. Worthy of censure or reproach. Very bad. Miss Clinton didn't do nothing but tell the truth when she said that those people who support Donald Trump, she put them in her basket of deplorables. She was 105% right. Yeah, that woman had more class in her little finger than that boy got in his old body. When she found out about this situation with her husband and that thing, she didn't go out there acting a fool. I'm sure he caught some flack from her in private. But she still remembered she was the First Lady of the United States, and she conducted herself as such. I still don't get it where you didn't ask Monica Lewinsky why did she keep the dress and never had it cleaned. Because they sent her in there to set him up. Don't make no difference. Because you the president of the United States, you still as a man. Subject to being tempted. And Monica Lewinsky, she wasn't no bad looking woman. She's going to try to, well, he took misadvantage of me. You are a lie. You took misadvantage of him. But don't tell me. Look, I tell you what, next time you get a chance, look at the interview that Otis Williams gave about when they do concerts and stuff, women would come and throw their underwears at them. Donald Trump even told you that. Said when you're a celebrity, they let you do anything. Huh? Ain't that what he said? You don't want to come out there and front the president off like that. Wouldn't have happened if J. Edgar Hoover had still been around. No, you wouldn't have. But anyway, you say, well, J. Edgar Hoover didn't care about black people. That ain't got nothing to do with the fact that J. Edgar Hoover was a man who wasn't going to let you drag the reputation of the presidency into the mud. And a man like Donald Trump would never have got elected. So, anyway, and don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I was here. I done seen all of this stuff. So, and Donald Trump even said it when he used to come out and talk to him. How are my fellow deplorables? And they just clap. Yeah. Well, pretty soon I'm going to throw all y'all in hell. And, you know, I told you one day I'm going to say amen to it. And it ain't far off. But first I got to finish reading it. It says, full of envy, murder. I left off at the 29th verse. Debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters. You know that the White House full of whisperers because they got more leaks than a sieve. Is that right? What is a leak? It's a whispers. Huh? Then it says, haters of God. Are you aware that this man is the first president that tried to ban religious people from coming to this country? The Constitution gives people, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Why do you suppose they don't teach you the Constitution in school from, I would say, from 5th grade on up? Why do you suppose they don't teach it to you? Because they want you to be ignorant so that they can pervert it. The same way that the Bible had been perverted. The same way that the Holy Quran had been perverted. The Bible, in its proper interpretation, sets you free. It makes it impossible for people to lie to you. When I say the Bible, I'm talking about the Holy Quran and the Bible. I tell you what, come in here and lie to me and see if I don't know it. Just talk to me. Why do you think don't nobody want to talk to me? That's because I have the light. Now, how in the world you gonna come out in the middle of the day naked and the light on you and can't nobody see you? You can't sneak up on somebody that's surrounded by light. All I got to do is ask you questions, and you tell me everything that I need to know about what's in your heart. And the beautiful thing is, you'll never even know that I found out. You know, I'll show you an example. Why, if Donald Trump say everything is false, a witch hunt, regardless to how many people are completely guilty, it's still a witch hunt, right? Okay, now, but he said he ain't did nothing. Why is he scared to talk to and go there and be questioned and be through with it? I mean, he would like to say they're trying to trump up some charges on him. But the FBI ain't got no history of trumping up stuff on people. Like I said, you know, I mean, even with Martin Luther King, they took pictures of him in compromising himself. They didn't do that to him. They just followed him and took the pictures. I didn't hear you. They followed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, found nothing, left him alone. Huh? I know they've been watching me. They didn't have no problem finding me. They knew exactly where to find me. Came out here, told me. He said, the elder man, he said, look, we know y'all law abiding. We need to see Frederick Muhammad. I didn't even change words with the man. I said, okay. I'll have him to get in contact with you. And that was the end of that. Them people don't play the games that Donald Trump trying to put on that. That's his lie. You know, I don't get mad at no man for loving his people and loving his country. If he think I'm an enemy to his country, he should watch me. That's what I would do. I'd find out if you are a danger to my country, and if you are, then me and you would have a problem. But I ain't gonna make up now. No. I understand patriotism. If you was a patriot yourself, you'd understand when you're dealing with another patriot. So I remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He had patriotism in him too. As he said, I could go to Russia. I could get into Russia today. He said, but I respect the American government, and I will not go to their enemies seeking help. I don't need them. So likewise. Okay, let's hush that noise up back there. So the thing that we are missing is that, you know, if you want people to respect your government, and every leader, no matter what his government is, he should want people to respect his government. Then he can show that by respecting theirs, by respecting others. But tyrants never understand that principle. They think every criticism is a put down or is an attempted overthrow, because they're more concerned with being over people than serving people. They don't understand that when the more people you are over, you have the responsibility to serve those people. If you want people to look up to you, I tell you what, go to a restaurant when you go to the next restaurant, watch how you conduct yourself. You'll be sitting there for a while, and if don't nobody show up at the table, you start you might even get a little rowdy. Hey, no, you don't get rowdy, but you say you might get up and tiptoe up there to the maitre d' or somebody and say, "Hey, we've been sitting here 15 minutes. Can we get a waiter?" But most of the time, you don't have to do that. You sit down. Next thing you know, 5 minutes later, the waiter comes. I'll be your waiter, and here's to bring you some water, and say I'll give you time to look over the menu, unless you already know what you want, and they'll say yes. Give us a few minutes, and you love it when you don't have to. They back there before you have to look for them. You're looking for those who are there to serve. When people need to be served, they need you to do for them what they are not able at that particular time to do for themselves. Every member of Congress was sent up there to serve the community that put him up there. But at the same time, he must remember that that community is a part of a greater community, that serving that private community does not mean harming the greater community. That's the agreement that was made when they decided to become the United States of America. So it's called the federal government. And they are elected representatives from all of the states, and they get together and they say, well, look, my constituents want this done and they want that done. And then the other one may tell them, well, look, man, if we do that, that's going to cause harm over here. I say, well, I tell you what, I know I can't get everything. So what can we do to meet halfway? To, you know, we understand that we can't hurt other states in the process of helping ourselves. Because everything is based on forming a more complete union, not tearing the union apart. Do you understand? So, you reheat this coffee for me, please. Thank you. So, it says backbiters, haters of God. This is the 30th verse. Despiteful, displayers of spite, proud, boasters. This is the greatest. My presidency is the greatest presidency ever. Hey, that man has done lost his mind. Inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding. That man that took a job that he don't even have the understanding of what that job's supposed to do. You can tell he don't care what the understanding. He had his own understanding of what he wanted to do when he got in there. And that's all he concerned about. He trying to become the real billionaire that he been lying to people about what he is. Do you understand? Okay. Without natural affection. What is natural affection? What man would agree to you to call his daughter a piece of ass? You let somebody talk about your daughter like that to you, brother? What was that, Howard Stern? He asked him, is it okay if he said, yeah, you can call her that. Without natural affection. Telling people that he about to mess with them, they remind him of his daughter. What kind of stuff is that? What's that, Sister Stormy Daniel? Didn't she say he told her that? That she reminded him of his daughter? Okay. Without natural affection, implacable and unmerciful. Has he shown what did he do when he went to Puerto Rico? Lied about and when they got the real death count, he said they made it up. Saw the people done got burnt out there on the West Coast. Y'all need to rake your Lying on the man from Finland. Somebody, he said, if he needed on no fire like that, because they rake around there, man say he lying. I ain't told him no such thing. The man is a habitual, incurable liar. You know why I say incurable? Because you can't shame him. If you can put shame in a person for something that they are doing, you can change them. If you can't shame them, they don't see no reason to change. Thank you, beloved. Implacable and unmerciful. Who, now this is him. Now listen to it good now. Knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. What he tell the prince over there? That's his boy. We need that. Is that right? And you know, did not tell you wasn't no oil shortage. They buy it all up and then hoard it and just put a little out there and charge a lot for it. It's like diamonds. Diamonds ain't nothing but rocks. And they plentiful. And you out here paying, you out here paying $20,000 for a little bit. Boy, this devil got some nerve. He said, shine it up and make it shine. See, he laughing too. And he put a magnifying. He create a whole big thing around him. Say he's a diamond expert. He said, I've never seen such a fine stone. And he said, a gem like this would cost you about 500,000. And because you've been stealing anyway, he said, oh, that's a steal. You know, the people who beat others out of a lot of money. I mean, look at how this man Manafort go through $60 million. I mean, how you go through $60 million? Man, you could have did, if nothing else, you could have put that in one of them big banks that, you know, and lived off the interest of it. But, you know, but you can't put it in the bank if you're trying to deduct taxes. Because they might ask you how you got it. Do you understand? So, you know, I mean, it's a lot of crookedness going on. But anyway, he said, not only do you do it yourself, but you have pleasure in them that do those things. Now, the second chapter says, therefore, thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgest. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. Remember, he judged Miss Clinton. Huh? For being a security risk, she ought to be jailed. Ain't that what he said? They gave him a secure phone, and he's still using his other phone. His daughter was using her private server to conduct government business. The very thing that he was up there talking about, lock Miss Clinton up for. Is that right? No, I'm just waiting to see what the FBI gonna find about what she was out there doing. And I'm so thankful that for your sake, that you woke up enough to put a Congress or House of Representatives in there that now will do their job of oversight and look into what these people have been doing. So I applaud that, and my prayers are with you. They are, for your success in saving your country from these traitorous, treasonous people. So I know how that feels, to watch people that you may have thought cared something about you. They look like you. They was talking like you. And then they got in a position and they tore your house up. So just because somebody look like you and talk like you, that don't mean they're you. Don't never go to sleep unless you really know who's watching your back while you sleep. Stop assuming that people mean the best. You can't afford that when you're dealing with your family's safety and your country's safety. You have to vet those people that you put in charge of your nation. You made the mistake of letting a man become president that you didn't know where he was getting his money from. Why wouldn't he show his tax returns so that you would know what he's doing? And you let him get away with it. Now, because you didn't have an ounce of prevention, now you need 1.5 pounds for cure. You should have been paying attention when those Sarah Palin and all of them standing up there talking about Putin playing chess. Well, if Putin was playing chess, that means he was putting his men in positions. And instead of standing up there bragging about him, you should have been on the watch and sounding the alarm. But you so filled with hatred for President Obama, you helping Putin destroy your nation. And know this, anybody that find that you stupid enough to help them burn your house down, do you honestly think they will ever trust you in their house? You about dumb as a bag of nails. But anyway, let's go a little further here.
Person he listed third, FBI General Counsel Jim Baker. He left the FBI in May of this year. Mr. Baker said at the time he was going to join the Brookings Institution, and he planned to write for their high-profile legal website on national security issues. Their website is called Lawfare. This week, in what I think is Jim Baker article number 6 for Lawfare, he has more or less blown up the internet. At least my personal social media feed is now useless for anything other than this story. This is the piece that he's just written. What the Watergate roadmap reveals about improper contact between the White House and the Justice Department. This is an in-depth historical piece about President Richard Nixon and the trouble he made for himself when he leaned on officials in his own Justice Department, both to try to influence the course of the Watergate investigation, but also specifically to get them to feed him information on the ongoing case. James Baker, ex-FBI General Counsel, now providing an impressive history lesson on how one of the articles of impeachment against Nixon was in part about him opening up a back channel of communication with a senior Justice Department official that was designed to inform him about the inner workings of the Watergate case. Joining us for the interview is James Baker, former general counsel of the FBI and co-author with Sarah Grant of this fascinating spotlight on this part of history. Mr. Baker, it's really nice to have you here. I know you don't do things like this often, if at all, so it's a real honor to have you with us this evening.
Thank you, Rachel. First time ever.
Well, thank you. I promise it'll not be too painful.
Okay, we'll see.
I mean, I want to talk to you about why you did this. I mean, you've written this piece. It has received a lot of attention, not only for, I think, the historical analogy that people are drawing to our current situation, but also because you wrote it. Can you just tell me what it is about this part of history that
Now, these people that's sitting up talking about the president can't be arrested and all of that kind of thing. No, the president cannot be arrested, but the man who holds that office can. There's no such thing as a man who violates his oath of office. The unspoken agreement that you don't arrest the president, that's just an agreement that was made because it's too embarrassing to have a man that held such a high office be hauled off in handcuffs in front of the world. So if you go back, I don't even have to have been there. I know what happened. A gentleman's agreement was made that if you find that the man that's in that office don't belong there, then let's agree to do it like this. Let's just impeach him from office and get him out of there. Huh? You take your evidence to the Congress and let him go before the Senate and have your trial and have his say and present the evidence. And if it's impeachable offenses, we'll do it like that. But to sit up and say that he's exempt from the law, exempt from being arrested, that's a lie. There ain't nowhere in the Constitution that say the president can't be arrested. You know, once you break ties with the law, that's what's called breaking the law is. You break ties with the law. That's what a lawbreaker is. Someone who the law say you don't do this and you do it. Well, you left the law. You didn't stay upheld by the law. And so they come and arrest you. Meaning what? That's what you want them to do with any cancer. You want them to arrest it. You don't want to let the thing keep spreading. So there's much to think over. Now I'm going to let you see something else.
We're back with Chuck Rosenberg, who's a former U.S. attorney, former senior official at the FBI and the Justice Department. Chuck, thank you. I want to keep grilling you.
Okay.
We got a new indication today that there was a long 3,000 word sealed filing in this case that we have no window into. Sealed filings, sealed motions, sealed hearings, We have seen, you can see on the docket that there has been movement here. We can see that it involves the special counsel's office. We can see that it involves the DC federal court and the DC federal appeals court, and that they have been handling this matter with alacrity. We can see that the one judge on that court, that appeals court, who was appointed by President Trump, is the only judge who is recused from this case. I'm fascinated by this case. We have no idea what it's about. A, is there any way of watching that you feel like you can discern what it might be about? And B, will it definitely be unsealed someday? Will we ever know?
A, partly, and B, probably. Let me explain. Very likely it is a grand jury matter. By rule and law, grand jury matters have to be under seal. The government must keep it secret. So if they served a subpoena on someone, let's say even on the president for testimony, and the president's team moved to quash that subpoena, all that litigation would be under seal. So that's probably what it is.
That's what honestly what I assume it is. I assume that this is Mueller and his team subpoenaing the president to appear before the grand jury and the president's lawyers fighting it.
Or somebody else, but it could well be the president. That's the part we don't know. So that's the partly answer, part A. The probably answer, part B, is that almost everything that's sealed one day gets unsealed. Now, once, for instance, someone is charged or the matter becomes moot, the courts can move to unseal it. Often you'll see journalists move to unseal documents. That's how we got the roadmap from Jaworski, Watergate. It was journalists asking the court to unseal it. So I hope we don't have to wait 40 years for it. But the answer is you will probably see that one day. And if it's part of this case and it's litigated and resolved, probably sooner than later.
We had former FBI General Counsel Jim Baker here, who I know is someone who you know.
Very fond of him.
This is the first interview he's done on television since leaving the FBI in May. I was honored to have him here. The reason that we had him here and what we talked to him about was this piece he's written that's on part of the history of Watergate, essentially highlighting the fact that one of the things the president got in trouble for during Watergate was opening up a back channel of communication with a Justice Department official who had a role in, who had information about the Watergate investigation, and that was improper for the president to do that. Jim Baker wasn't here to talk about analogies to the president, but people are seeing an analogy there with Matthew Whitaker at the Justice Department or anybody else at the Justice Department who might be feeding President Trump information about the Mueller investigation. Is it clear under current Justice Department rules that somebody at the Justice Department would be in trouble if they were doing that?
Yes, and particularly so if it was done to help the president undermine the investigation, the integrity of the work of the men and women of the Department of Justice, right? So the president is the head of the executive branch, and the Justice Department is a part of the executive branch. And so in theory, the president is entitled to know what his branches are, what his agencies are doing. That part's okay. But if it's to undermine the investigation, which, by the way, Rachel, is about him, right? That's a problem. And so I think the analogy that Jim Baker draws explicitly in his article, implicitly on your show, is very important.
The truth will out is the way that one ends, basically.
The truth will out. The rule of law will prevail.
Chuck Rosenberg, always a pleasure to have you here, sir. Thank you very much.
For me. Thank you.
We'll be right back, Steve.
And then
this just happened at the U.S. Senate debate in Mississippi tonight. See if you can tell what's wrong with this statement.
I am so glad that I had the endorsement of President Donald J. Trump and the endorsement of Governor Phil Bryant. But the endorsement that's most important to me, that's most valued, would be your vote next Tuesday, November the 22nd.
Next Tuesday, this is November 22nd. That does it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Now it's time for the last word with Ali Velshi, who's filling in for Lawrence tonight. Good evening, Ali.
Rachel, you have a great evening.
Now that's the lady that's running against Mike Espy. I told you, you are. I don't think that the Mississippi of today is the same as it was a long time ago. Now maybe that's maybe just me talking because I'm in the lion's den and a lot of them could shut the lion's mouth. But I've had I've had dealings with a lot of Caucasian people, and I don't think they, all of them is trying to follow in the footsteps of their racist fathers and mothers and unjust people. I don't think they're going to vote for that lady. I'm hoping that Mike Espy winds up representing the state of Mississippi in Congress. I'm going to watch this election close. And all of you need to go out and vote. It'd be nice to know where these people stand. But anyway, this is an example, what you're about to see, of what I've been telling you, that these people should know better than to be saying that the president somehow is exempt from being indicted or charged. No, and it ain't nobody exempt from being charged. It's just like with me. You can't charge me, but Allah sure can. I'm his servant. Whose servant is Congress? Whose servant is the president? And when you go to court and you have a district attorney that has filed charges against someone who committed a crime, don't they say, Your Honor, when the judge asks, is the defense ready? And he'll say, yes, Your Honor. Are the people ready? Well, who is the people? The district attorney represents the people of the state. Can he be charged if he do something that's against the law? Well, why you let these people misrepresent the law to you when it comes to the president or anybody else? Either America is a nation of laws and not of men, or it's not. Now, which is it? Ain't no kings in America. Well, it used to didn't be. Because I'm the king. But I'm not just the king over America. I'm the king of the world. You've been singing about this king. All in church and all that stuff. Y'all been singing about this king. And Jesus called me a king. Said, then shall the king say to them on the right hand, come you blessed of my Father. Nothing wrong with a king if you're a good king. Jesus called me Holy Father. That's what he did. He said, Holy Father, keep through thy own name those men that thou gavest me, for they were thine, and thou gavest them to me. So there's much that, see, ain't nobody contradicting me. So what's your problem? I'm going to let you hear this because I want you to hear them sitting up here. Just because the person have a suit on and a tie and look distinguished, that don't mean they know what they're talking about. Watch that.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I'm Valley Belchian for Lawrence O'Donnell. Tonight we begin with a question. What happens when the people who stopped President Trump from his worst impulses are no longer around? What happens when the safety net is gone? That's what we're asking tonight, following a major report in the New York Times that the president last spring wanted to order the Justice Department to prosecute two of his biggest political adversaries, Hillary Clinton and former FBI Director James Comey. That's according to two people familiar with the conversation. Trump told this to his White House counsel at the time, Don McGahn. The Times report.
Well, see, that point is actually moot. The president can't order the FBI to prosecute anyone. In the first place, the FBI is an investigative body. Now, once they investigate, they can bring you the evidence that they may have found. But to prosecute the thing, that's not up to them. It's up to the prosecutor, the other department of it, of the Justice Department, to determine whether it's sufficient evidence of violating laws to warrant prosecution. See, this man thinks that he can just tell you to go after somebody. See, he wants to be the Godfather. Do you understand? But America ain't set up like that. The government of America does not work like that. Even though you have men sometime in offices abusing their power and going past their authority and trying to bend the judicial system and whatnot to suit their private purposes. But they generally wind up falling under the law and wind up like Mr. Bernie Madoff and all them other ones that, you keep on tripping, and sooner or later you're going to trip yourself right on up into a cell. And that's the good thing about this country. It has 3 branches of government, as the Holy Quran says. So go on, march on to the shadow with 3 branches. This country is a shadow of the things to come, you see. And there's a lot of things that I'm going to be showing you in the future. Just ain't going into it tonight. But if this man that's president now goes down the road that he thinks he wants to go down, he gonna find out that it don't work like that. Matter of fact, it might done already went down, and it's too late to turn back. And I'm just, like I said, he gonna find out that the legislative branch of government is not under his authority. They told him ain't no kings in America. I mean, if he wants something done and the legislators decide they don't want it, if the Congress say they don't want it, they just veto. They can override his veto, or they can override anything he want to do. And it was designed like that purposely because they had just got free from one tyrant. And I guess I ain't never heard them say this, but I guess one tyrant, being under one tyrant was enough for me from now on. Huh? No, we ain't setting up no government where it can be perverted into a tyranny. This is the first time you ever had I mean, this man, he don't care who he talk about. He talk about Congress. He talk about the Supreme Court justices. He talk about anybody. And he's the president, trying to tear the country apart from the inside. Why he has not been charged, I do not know. You better be glad I ain't the head of the FBI. I'd have been uncharged you. They said, yeah, well, we'd have got rid of you too. Yeah, well, you'd have had to get rid of me. If you don't believe it, you ask some of them that knew me in the nation. I didn't care who you was. If I didn't think you was somebody for our best interest, I'll tell you. I'm not what you gonna do to me. You ain't gonna do nothing to me. You just wait. You're going to find out. I done found out how much authority I have to do stuff. Just with my will. You'll see. Just keep living. But anyway, let's get back to this. Let's see.
Don McGahn, quote, rebuffed the president, telling Trump that he had no authority to order a prosecution. Mr. McGahn said that while he could request an investigation, that too could prompt accusations of abuse of power. To underscore his point, McGahn had White House lawyers write a memo for Mr. Trump, warning that if he asked law enforcement to investigate his rivals, he could face a range of consequences, including possible impeachment. Now, it's not clear if President Trump read that memo, but according to the Times, he has continued to privately suggest investigations of both Comey and Clinton, including the possible appointment of a second special counsel. To be clear, these ideas have been on the president's mind for a long time, since before the 2016 election.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
The Times reports that Trump has also repeatedly expressed disappointment in the FBI director, Christopher A. Wray, for failing to more aggressively investigate Mrs. Clinton, calling him weak, one of the people said. All right, this news comes after multiple reports over the last year and a half of the president wanting to fire both special counsel Mueller and former Attorney General Jeff Sessions. But here is the thing. In all of those reports, Don McGahn and Jeff Sessions and Trump's lawyers stopped him from actually carrying out these actions. So what happens now that McGahn and Sessions and most of Trump's lawyers are gone, and in their place is a new acting Attorney General who seems much more willing to play by Trump's rules? The president has been asking for someone like Matthew Whitaker to be in charge for ages. Listen to this remark last year.
You know, the saddest thing is that because of the President of the United States, I am not supposed to be involved with the Justice Department. I'm not supposed to be involved with the FBI. I'm not supposed to be doing the kind of things that I would love to be doing. And I'm very frustrated by it. I look at what's happening with the Justice Department. Why aren't they going after Hillary Clinton with her emails and with her the dossier and the kind of money?
Now, it's hard to say just how Matthew Whitaker will respond to requests like these from the president. Actually, it's not hard to say. One could actually take an educated guess. Here's why. In July 2016, before the election, Whitaker penned an op-ed in USA Today entitled, "I would indict Hillary Clinton." Okay, so we're clear on that.
Well, I guess he's going to indict Ivanka Trump now for doing the thing that he said he would indict Hillary Clinton for. You know, people say all kind of things when it's convenient. But that's how you find out who's a liar and who is truthful. Do you understand? You know, you can't on the one hand say that something is wrong when it's done to you. And then you go and get caught doing that to somebody else and you have an excuse. Wrong is wrong. It's not something to be excused. Do you understand? The worst thing you can do is when you are discovered doing something that is just absolutely wrong. One of the worst things you can do is start putting up an excuse instead of just saying, I will correct myself. Because to offer an excuse is to try to justify your wrong. But if it's wrong, there is no way to justify it. Do you understand? Okay. Now, it's something that I want to let those who claim to be followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, notice I said claim to be. I want you to listen to this. You know, I've been talking to America, now I'm talking to you. For we all got some sweeping to do around our front doors. You know, you need to quit lying, man. And brother and sister, you need to quit lying. Stop saying you believe in something that you really don't believe in. Stop saying you believe in someone that you really don't believe in. Because it can be seen. You just can't get away with lying now. Because it's now, if you're in a time where, you know, you can't work, ain't nobody can see each other's actions, well, then you can get away with saying you believe in something that you don't believe in. But what happens when the day comes, as the messenger said, I hope that when the day comes, that Allah won't miss throwing you over in the middle of hell. Why did he say when the day comes? Well, because the day comes with the light. What is the light? The light of understanding. Now, you got all these people running around here talking about they looking for Master Farad Muhammad and all of this. Talking about he's the one that they waiting on. And now they got him and the messenger on the mothership. I mean, they done did all this. And if you ask them, hey, man, show me where that the messenger said he was going to be on the mothership with Master Farad Muhammad. Where you get that from? You know why they don't want to acknowledge that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had passed? Because then they would have to look for the one that he said was coming after him. And they don't have to look too far, because the one that he said was coming after him is standing here talking to you. Now, I want you to listen closely to show you, just like where Rachel Maddow was talking about this woman, talking about she wants your support on the 22nd. The 22nd is tomorrow. That ain't Tuesday. I mean, the woman's so out of touch, her mind and froze up on her. And that's the kind of people you want up in this. In the legislature? Woman just said she'd gladly attend the lynching if her friend invited her there. That's how much she thought of him. She couldn't think of no other thing to say. But I'm going to tell you, I done told you, I'm tired of you disrespecting us. It ain't no white person within the sound of my voice that don't know now that they came from us. What does the book say about your mother and your father? Did it say disrespect them, or did it say honor them? Now, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the land, the earth, and every creeping thing that creeps. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God gave you. So you done decided you're not going to honor us, huh? Now, don't say I didn't give you a chance. All right. I'm not gonna take it back once I put an amen to it. Remember, the Holy Quran says that when Allah decrees a matter, He only says to it be. And it is. You better go look up amen. All right. Now, let me let you hear this.
Bible teaches you and me that this Elijah must first come. He don't come after God. He goes before God. And this is what the book is meaning. He must first come, but right behind him, God will appear. Bible teaches you and me that this Elijah must first come. He don't come after God. He goes before God. And this is what the book is meaning. He must first come, but right behind him, God will appear.
Now, how do you explain to me that you're looking for Master Farad Muhammad? And you just heard the messenger said that Elijah don't come after God, he goes before God. He came after Master Farad Muhammad. Now you come in here and explain it to us. Now explain it. Come on. See, I can trap you in your lie. As the messenger said, the Bible teaches you that this Elijah must first come. He don't come after God, he goes before God. What's wrong? You ain't got nothing to say. You always trying to teach. Come on in here and teach us. Come on and teach the people why that's talking about Master Farad Muhammad. Matter of fact, Master Farad Muhammad, when he left, he told the messenger, he said, "You don't need me anymore." Did he tell him I'll be back? Did he say, "Look, Elijah, I'll be back"? Or did he tell him, if you can find one that you can teach it all to, I will widen your circle? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you that he had to go and find, as he said it like this. He said, I was so deep in the mud that Allah could hardly find me regally. But he found me and pulled me out. Then he sent me back to the cemetery to pull you out. Who was it that he went back to pull out? Well, if Elijah had to come first, then after Elijah come, well, the one that Elijah came to pull out was God himself. The Lord himself, who was dead. Did you ever hear the messenger suggest to you that Master Farad Muhammad was at one time a dead man? But he did say that Allah, God, the truth, appeared to him in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. He said that I alone Allah has raised up to teach. He didn't say some dead people. He said a dead man. And when he finally got me, he said, come on in, brother. Have a seat, brother. He said, sit him down over there. Crown him. Put him on good shoe. He said, he was dead. Now he's alive. Yeah. And then you know he found the dead man that he was supposed to raise. Yep. He was lost. Now he's found. Yeah, that's right. When I used to pick up the Bible, I was lost. I didn't know how to connect these things. You ever been trying to spell something and remember them spelling tests you used to have? They'd ask you how to spell something, and you couldn't remember how to put them together. You was lost. Now you find your way through the alphabet to write letters now easy, don't you? Yeah. Somebody had to teach you how to rightly divide the alphabet to spell what you want to spell. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me how to rightly divide the Holy Scriptures. And when I say he taught me, he gave me an example. He knew that that's all he'd have to do, and that I'd get the hang of it. Just like everything else that I tried, you know, I don't take me long to get the hang of nothing. I learn how to do it. If I start doing it, it don't take me long to see how it's supposed to go. All you have to do is just give me an example, and I can go from there. So that's why it's written that the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, because it's a creative mind that I have. And since I have a creative mind, I don't need no teacher. All I needed was an example. Then my mind go to creating, from looking at what I'm looking at, my mind start thinking of better ways to do that. That's all. That's just the way I was made. You see? You see? People used to think I didn't know how to teach people. They come in, you don't know how to talk to people. Well, why are you still listening? Obviously, I know how to talk to people. I talk to people by simply putting myself in their position. I always appreciated it eventually when somebody got on me about something I was doing that ain't had no business. You know, just like I grew up and I learned to appreciate my daddy fussing at me. I saw the value of what he was sharing me once I matured. When I was a child, I didn't like it because it hurt my feelings. But by him forcing me to do what was right, he saved me a lot of discomfort. He saved my life, more than likely. So, but you heard the messenger. I'm going to let you hear him one more time.
Bible teaches you and me that this Elijah must first come. He don't come after God. He goes before God. And this is what the book is meaning. He must first come, but right behind him, God will appear.
Now, how do you reconcile that with you sitting up talking about the mothership, the messenger on the mothership? Now, who am I supposed to believe? You and Farrakhan? Or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Whom you also heard Minister Farrakhan saying that he thought at one time that the messenger was jealous of him. Think over that. How in the world you believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the messenger of God, but he's jealous of you? You can't believe that he's the messenger and think he need to be jealous of you. But when you love praise and people praising you, and then the messenger put a stop to it, well, naturally you're going to get mad because you love praise too much. And why would he put a stop to it? By saying, yes, he's very well known, all right. So that when he turns hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him. And he's sitting there fuming. Couldn't show it though. He said, why would he say that? Because he was jealous. He must be jealous of me. Huh? Why he don't come in and correct me if I got it wrong? I told you I can read your mind. Everybody's mind is an open book. If you can read. So you know, it's not hard. You know, I watch people's. I just don't say nothing. It ain't necessary. You know, it's just like mockery. What is mockery? Mockery is pretending. That's all it is. Like a mock court, like they have in law school. A mock court. A mock accident scene. So that they can teach students how to do triage and all that kind of stuff. It's a pretend scene to do something. Well, Allah said, and they said that when they meet with the messengers of God, they say, we believe. But when they are alone with their devils, with their evil thoughts, they say, we was only mocking. We really with you. Huh? And so, likewise, it says Allah will pay them back their mockery. I remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said, it can make me so sick to see some of our people come out. How you do, Mr. Jones? How you do? He can't get outside to greet white people quick enough. Won't speak to his own people, but he want to get out there. He said, I've had white people come to me and say, how you doing, Mr. Muhammad? I said, how you doing, Mr. Jones? He said, both of us have death in our hearts for each other. Now, most people didn't know what that meant. He didn't mean physically wanting to kill nobody. In the heart of messengers of God is righteousness. In the heart of the devil is wickedness. Both of us have death in our hearts for each other. You see? If you listen to the devil, what's in his heart, and let him put that in you, it'll kill the righteousness that you could have had. If he listens to what's in the righteous man's heart, it'll cause him to die as far as being a devil. He will become a righteous person. Both of us have death in our heart for one another. But you always thinking about murder, because that's what the devil did with from the beginning. He was a murderer from the beginning. He got here by murder. So kill the black, save the brown. Kill the brown, save the yellow. Kill the yellow, save the white. That's how he got here. So there's much that, and even that requires more than just a word or two. Because when you get to brown baby, then soon you'll have another brown baby, and then you mate them together and keep on mating brown with brown and that kind of thing, and you killing off the black right there. You see, it's much to be understood. Don't mean literally you have to kill the black. But it's much that you could glean from those teachings. But most people, they don't understand. Can't tell them nothing because they know everything. And they ain't never even thought about the fact that if you know so much, how come you can't get your condition to become better? Why are you still at the mercy of the man that you call the devil? I look at the devil, the man that you condemning, that man is building cities. He builds, guides himself to other planets and all that kind of stuff. And you sitting around here talking about you that somehow supposed to take his place. That's, I mean, really? Take his place how? You won't get up and do nothing. Who is that with their phone off mute, brother? Well, just go and hang it up. You got to do all that. But anyway, so I'm a person who believes in giving everybody justice, man. How you going to get justice if you won't go after justice in a just manner? You talking about you going to take the place of a man that's as industrious as white people, and you want him to follow you? And he doing more than you? You got to show him that you got a better idea than him. Otherwise, you need to follow him. I hear you. All right. I mean, he could argue that. So the messenger told me, he said, look, you can't pull the tractor. You pull the plow. You can't start off. Don't nobody come here able to walk and run and all that. You come here like everybody come here. You come here helpless, needing help. And you grow to strength. Do you understand? I mean, if he come trying to condemn me, I just remind him, hey, man, when you first got over here to the West and found out you wouldn't fall off the earth, when you first got here, was you building these kind of cities? Did you have automobiles and airplanes and stuff? So don't be coming up here trying to make me feel bad because I'm a baby in this and coming into the knowledge of how to become an independent nation. You didn't start off so great. So you needn't think you're going to make me feel bad because I can't keep up with you yet. It ain't because I'm stupid. Ain't nothing you doing made got me bowing to you. No. Because with all your abilities to build, you're morally and spiritually bankrupt. And if I don't save you, you're going down. But I'm the only one who can tell him that. and get away with it. But all these people run around here worshiping him and worshiping his money and doing anything to get it. And he got no respect for you. You weak. Shoot, he already got the ups on you. But he ain't got nothing on me. And soon, I know how to guide myself to what he have, but he can't guide himself to what I have. Yeah. You stay behind me, I'll guide you to success. And woe to anyone who tries to get in our way. And I ain't talking about no bullets and bombs on them. They'd have been better off if somebody had dropped a bullet and a bomb on them, because they'll be walking around here living in hell. And ain't nobody gonna help you. You'll lose your mind and ain't nobody gonna lend a hand to help you get it back. And whoever try to help you gonna wind up in the same condition you in. When Allah chastises somebody, he don't let nobody get involved in it. Nope. So just, I know it's late, so I'm not going to hold you. It's a lot of things that I wanted to talk to you about that just didn't come up. So I'm going to leave it alone. But I know one thing. Now you got something, all of you out there that when sitting up here lying on the messenger, you just heard the messenger tell you that Elijah don't come after God. He goes before God. Well, he came after Master Farad Muhammad. So as the messenger in the message to the black man told you, he said one is called God and the other one is the Holy One. Now, which one should we take for our God? Now, you tell me. See, you don't know nothing. But then why don't you sit down and shut up and let me teach you? Oh. So if there's no questions, anybody got a question they want to ask?
May Allah alaikum.
May wa alaikum Allah salam.
Man, your guest you had on tonight, I didn't catch it. Why she came on? Was she wanted to sell her book?
No, she wanted to do some research for a book that she's writing.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. A story, not so much as a book, but she works for what's that paper? Let me. She's going to be writing an article on the salvation of Islam, or the what she called it, and so I told brother to tell her to come in here. I'd be glad to share some insights with her.
Yeah, you didn't hear me?
Beg your pardon? You know, and I welcome anyone that wants to. You need to listen to me through the phone when I'm talking to you, and not be trying to wait on the internet. I welcome anyone that mute your phone. Mute that. Come on now, y'all been doing this long enough to know not to do that. You don't need to be trying to talk to me using your computer. Talk to me in your phone. And stop waiting on the answer to come through the computer. So, but yeah, I'm always anxious to talk to people who want to question me about what I teach. You know, all you got to do is call in and ask. I'll be glad to answer your question. You understand? I'm not teaching something I'm ashamed of. And it sure ain't no secret. I'm here to tell all the secrets. That's what the book says. Son of man, that which I say to you in your ear, you get up on the housetop. So that's what the antenna is. It's up on the housetop. So I'm talking to the whole world now from the housetop. www. World Wide Web. A great net. Yep. The kingdom of heaven now. It's like unto a great net. Yeah. Great internet. So we I really feel for those people who were murdered in the name of Islam. Anytime you committing murder of any human being and talking about you believe in God, not only do you not believe in God, you don't know God. And you believe in a lie that you are representing as something from God when it is not. Allah did not order us to murder each other. He said, if you have love for one another, then shall men know that you are my disciples. Look at the words. If you have love one towards another. Another what? Another human being. If you can't do good to someone, why don't you just leave them alone? And if you claim you have light in you, then why don't you just let that light shine and let men see your good works, and then they will glorify Allah, which is in heaven, your Father, which is in heaven. You may find a lot of people around here that don't like me, but if you ask them, what did he do to you? He ain't did nothing to him. And most one that if he go talking me down, pretty soon see that his mind ain't right. That's the punishment you get for hating God's messenger. I'm an asset to any community that I move to. I didn't come here making your community worse. Wherever I go, I make things better. Because goodness and mercy follows me. And when I go someplace, I can always go back. Because I don't go around burning bridges. People who burn bridges, there's a visible flame follows them. That's what that means. So, you ask any people, any person, black, white, don't make no difference. I said, if I couldn't help them, I just left them alone. I mind my own business. I ain't up and down in people's face trying to preach. I do all my preaching where people come to hear it. Not in Walmart. Not on a man's job down there and set up a soapbox. He ain't paying you to go down there and preach. I'd fire you too. Well, it's the truth. I mean, look, you want to preach, you go down there. I brought you here to do your job. Do you understand? Let's show you right there that you're not really serving God, because if you were serving God, you'd know better. You know, people start asking questions. I told you what to do. Keep you some cards. And when people want to question you about your religion and whatnot, give them a card and tell them the Son of Man told me to give you this. Well, why don't you answer my, look, I told you, he told us don't be out here trying to teach. And besides, that every question you ask me, I might not be able to answer, and I don't want to be responsible for nobody's misunderstanding or whatever. So if you got questions, you ask him. You'll discover that most of them, they come up to you, they done already heard me, and they don't want to talk to me. They want to look for somebody that say they followed me to contradict something I said so they can justify not coming. I know what's in these people's heart. I've been watching you, I don't know how long, grew up with you. Always looking for an excuse. You get no excuses now. No. It's like, man, gonna tell me he gonna guide me, and I tell him, well, let me see your website. Let me see what you're doing, man. Ain't got none. Well, I got one. Now, when you show me that you doing equal or greater than me, then you come in here and tell me about what you want to teach me. Until then, the intelligent thing for you to do is be quiet and let me teach my class. Because all you doing is talking. And the book says faith without works, talk without works is dead. It's just, it's nothing. Because it's alone. How do you know that what you have is practical? You got works that you have applied to show that your teachings that you have, you are doing what you're talking about. And if you ain't doing nothing, you can't claim to know too much. Any disagreement with that? Then we all on the same page, right? Well, all praise is due to Allah. So I know it's late. We all got to get up tomorrow, do visiting and doing all kind of thing. So I'm going to let you go. That's right. Tomorrow, Thanksgiving, huh? Yeah. Well, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Some of y'all's birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday. And I'm going to tell you something else. Don't be out here telling people that there's something wrong with having a day to give thanks. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Do you understand? Well, how you giving thanks and getting drunk? And if you want to set a day aside to honor Jesus' birth, I'm with that too. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, I just ain't going to get drunk with you. I'm going to fast during that month because y'all get drunk and y'all do everything. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me to fast during the daylight hours where people are doing all kind of things. So we practice our Ramadan during the time that so much festivities and partying and drunkenness and all of that go on. You ought to quit lying, though. You don't celebrate a righteous man's birthday by getting drunk. You know, so we could all stand and start thinking about what we're doing. You know, it ain't righteousness to go around and somebody raining on people's parade. What's that about? You know, no. I used to celebrate Christmas and whatnot before I learned the truth for everybody. And we know Jesus wasn't born on no 25th of December. But anyway, if that's the day that you want to say that you celebrating the birth of Jesus, well, I can get with that. I'll celebrate it too by fasting. And I try to celebrate their birthday every day by trying to abstain from evil and remember what they taught. Yes. And practice it. That's how you celebrate it. You see? So get in these classes and learn what the one that they all told you was coming. Every one of them told you about the coming of the Lord. Well, now the Lord is here. So let's now move on to completion. Move on to perfection. That's what completion is. It's perfection. Now that I'm here, now you can be like me. Like-minded. Do you understand? If you let me put this mind in you. Is any objection? How many of you all think that my mind is not the mind that should be shared with everybody? So, see, I wish you peace, and then I commence talking to you for 2 or 3 hours and give you the peace that I wish you. Now, who else does that? My peace I give unto you, which passeth understanding to all. And the scripture say all understand. Well, yes. Notice you don't guess at the scripture no more. You got understanding of them now. Which makes you respect the scriptures even more now. If you had a little respect for them, when you listen to me, you get a lot of respect for them. As Jesus said, he shall glorify me, for he shall receive of mine and shall show you the understanding. And that's what I've been doing. So, may Allah bless us, keep us safe and in our right minds. May Allah's salam alaikum.
Your conference recording has stopped. This session is